if I ask you to prove your citizenship of India, how will you do it? Will you bring Aadhaar card? That's not applicable. Will you bring your voter ID card? That is not also acceptable. And finally, if you're thinking that passport is the ultimate proof of the citizenship, then let me tell you, Ministry of External Affairs has clarified it is not. Your passport is merely a travel document which can tell your nationality, nothing more than that. That gives you a peek into the identity of the person, but confirmation of the citizenship of India cannot be done by Passport of India as well. Hello everyone, welcome to Vajiram and Ravi's Flash News. My name is Shubhangi Singh and today we will be discussing a very important topic here. When we are seeing a clear clarification from Ministry of External Affairs that passport is not a proof of citizenship, then the question here is what is? How citizenship laws work out in India and who is a citizen and how that can be proved. So let us begin with understanding that what exactly has happened. So it was the event of celebration 14th Passport Seva Divas where Ministry of External Affairs clearly said that when we are talking about a passport, it is only a travel document, and if you are treating it as a proof of citizenship, then it is wrong. Now, this is a statement directly coming from an entity which administers, understands the utility. So, there is no confusion about what that has been said. Now, let us further break down and understand what exactly this might unfold. Because when we add the present layer that passport is not a document of citizenship, okay. But Aadhaar already has been told that this is not a document of citizenship and voter ID card is also not. So, as I asked earlier, then what is? And as of now, what we have from the government is a statement from 2019. This is where government said that if you want citizenship to be proved, then it can be proved by submitting any documents related to date of birth and place of birth. But the final decision is yet to be taken on what will be the acceptable document. So there is no clarity, and this statement also came in reference to the National Register of Citizens, which is a whole controversial topic in itself. So government has also no clarification on which acceptable documents will mark you as the citizens as of now. And this raises a very important question here, because when we talk about passports, all the individuals who have a passport would know that what kind of extensive verification, document check takes place before issuing the passport to a citizen. If that is also not bringing the clarity of citizenship, then it is very difficult to understand, especially in a country with such huge population, what comes next. Now, another important question arises here that when Ministry of External Affairs is saying that it is a travel document, it talks about the nationality or identity, not citizenship. What does this particular statement mean? So let us try to understand that. First, when we are talking about identity, it is basically who you are. That can be told through Aadhaar card. It has your name, it has your address, or maybe your PAN, permanent account number, which tells that identifies you. If your wallet is lost and we can find Aadhaar or PAN, that is how we will identify who you are and where it is to be sent, correct? But when we are talking about nationality, it basically tells that which nation you belong to. And MEA says that passport will tell you just that, because passport has the nationality present. But when we are talking about citizenship, it is a different concept than both of these. It might be somehow linked, but it is not the same. Citizenship is a legal membership of the state. You are legally the member of that particular state. And in this context, you have to get it through Citizenship Act, the provisions of Citizenship Act of 1955. So when we look at it, maybe you are fulfilling the provisions, for example, citizenship by birth. But how do you prove that? We'll further move deeper into this discussion. All in all, that we can understand what Ministry of External Affairs was trying to say, that please don't be in the presumption that the citizenship is in your hand just because you have the passport. It is not the ultimate legal source of citizenship, and citizenship can only be determined by constitutional and statutory provisions. And another question that should come from your mind when we are talking about passport, it is also administered through a proper law, Passport Services Act. If that is coming through statutory provisions, why it is not giving citizenship? Now let us move to another layer of this very discussion and understand the whole citizenship layout in our country. Now when we talk about the constitutional provisions, it is being tackled in part 2 of our constitution, article 5 to 11. Article 5 talks about citizenship at the commencement of constitution. Article 6 talks about citizenship, rights of person migrating from Pakistan to India. Article 7 about people who migrated to Pakistan, who went to Pakistan but they returned later. Article 8, right of Indians who are present abroad. Article 9, persons who are voluntarily acquiring foreign citizenship, they are not citizens. That means they have to give up their citizenship of India if they are acquiring another country's citizenship. They cannot be citizens of two countries, if one of them being India. And Article 10, continuance of citizenship rights are subject to law. That means there has to be proper statutory provisions, and these statutory provisions will be made by Parliament. Article 11 clearly says that Parliament has the power to regulate citizenship by law. And that is why in front of us, what do we have? We have Citizenship Act of 1955, which provides for acquisition and termination of citizenship. How can you acquire citizenship? You can acquire it by birth. Now this is a technical thing. Why technical? Because if birth was between 1950 to 1987, then birth in India was enough as a proof to be the citizen. But after 1987, up and until 2004, what it was? That one parent must be Indian. It's not like that two immigrants are present and they have given birth. In this particular time frame, that child who was born, he got the citizenship. But 1987 to 2004, that child only got the citizenship when one of the parents were Indian. And after 2004, the clause changed, the provision changed, saying that one parent must be Indian and the other one must not be an illegal immigrant. Then if we are looking at acquisition of citizenship, it can be by descent, then by registration, by naturalization, and by incorporation of territory. Now by registration, it is for spouses of Indian citizens who need, or maybe foreigners who become the spouses, or persons of Indian origin who want to register as citizens. Then we have by naturalization, where foreigners come into the picture, they fulfill the given requirements, residency requirements, and then they are taken up as citizens. And then by incorporation of territory, such as when we saw in Goa. When Goa was finally brought in Indian Union, that is when this people of Goa got the Indian citizenship, because their territory was incorporated into the Indian Union. Can you tell me the year in which Goa joined the Indian Union? Now, termination of citizenship can happen by renunciation, where the person gives up the citizenship on its own, by termination, where government terminates the citizenship, and by deprivation, that can be done by the government. Now, when we have a fair clarity on the constitutional and legal basis, we also need to understand certain newer amendments that have been done in our country. Because when we are talking about the recent changes, one of the biggest one has been the Citizenship Amendment Act of 2019, and that is when the conversation around NRC and CAA took a very controversial turn. What CAA exactly says? It says that the Indian citizenship will be fast-tracked for non-Muslim minorities who are coming from Pakistan, Afghanistan, Bangladesh, and who have entered India already before 31st December of 2014. Now it is applicable to non-Muslim communities such as Hindus, Sikhs, Buddhists, Jains, Parsis and Christians as well. Now the final question that emerges here, that what is the clear picture for passport and which are the documents that you can use. So as of now, the picture that is in front of you for passport, that you have to understand that it is a document that can be used for travel, entry and exiting the country, but at the same time it has nothing to do with your citizenship. Passport needs to be seen like a university degree. It tells you that you have graduated from this particular university, but if later it is found out that it was obtained through fraud or if anything goes wrong, it can be taken back, and the facilities that came with university degree, such as the job, that will also be taken back. So if you do not have the passport and you want a travel document of that extent, that will not be available to you and you will not be able to travel. So to summarize, what is in front of us is that as of now, Aadhaar is not a conclusive citizenship proof, PAN card is not, voter ID not conclusive, and now passport not conclusive. The only clarity that we can receive is through a citizenship certificate. But the problem is, India does not issue citizenship certificate or citizenship card. There is no universal citizenship card in India. Citizenship is only established through records such as birth records, land records, legacy documents, descendants, and many more. But there is no list, there is no finalized certificate nor document. And the challenge is, if the government wants to decide that they want to do it, they won't be able to execute it because the large population and multiple database will create huge complexities that need to be comprehended, solved, understood before we even think about taking on this very challenge. Now, what are your thoughts on this? Let me know in the comment section. I will be leaving you here with a prelims practice question. Let me know the answer to this in the comment section. I'll be waiting for your answers. Thank you so much.